Hey, hi everyone. Welcome to the series where we are learning about the SQL, and it is especially made for the non-IT people who wants to learn SQL from scratch, or if you are a beginner and you want to clear out your concept with respect to this. Okay, so today in today's video I'll be explaining about the aggregate functions. How can we write our most simplest query using the aggregate functions? Okay, so before starting with the today's topic, let me just revise the points which we have covered in the previous couple of videos. And okay, so these are like we have learned about what is SQL. How can we start our journey to learning towards SQL? Okay, so what is table, rows, columns? How can we sort the data? How can we like filter the columns? How can we filter out the rows also? How can we just check the count? How can we use the count differently? Okay, so all these things I have covered in the previous videos. Okay, and also this is freesql.com. Okay, this is a online platform. It is freely available. You just need to come and log in. There are some predefined tables already there. Okay, you just need to write your query. You can practice the queries here also. Like to use this platform, you do not need to install anything or any DB in your system. You just need to like log in and you can start writing the queries. Even without logging also you can start the start writing the queries. But if you log in and then in case you want to save your result set and next time like you want to start from that session, so for that purpose you like prefer to log in also. Okay, so this is the freesql.com. For that also, this is one of the blog spot I have created. This is my personal blog spot. Okay, I have prepared like uh, while I was preparing for some interviews. Okay, or also if you want to learn some advanced concept with respect to the informatica, oracle, SQL, unix. Okay, so you can like just go through this blog spot. I have noted down few question and answer. Okay, so let's get started with the today's topic, which is aggregate function. Okay, so aggregate function is basically doing some mathematical calculation on some data set. Okay, so let's say in a most simplest way you have a 10 plus 20 and you have a result set of 30. Okay, because you have done some addition. Okay, so it is kind of aggregation. You have done plus, basically you use the plus. Okay, you are doing some addition. So it is doing a aggregation. Okay, or you can say it is aggregate functions are used to summarize data. Okay, let's say you have a 10,000 of records in your table or in your data set. Okay, so if you are performing aggregate functions, so it means you are like you should expect a one single row as a output. Maybe let me walk you through with the example set. Let's go to the freesql.com. It is the same online platform I'm using from last couple of videos. Okay, same employees table. Let's run this and see how many records are there. One way to find the total records is same, doing the right click and the count of rows 107. Okay, this is useful if you just want to see the count. Okay, but let's say if you have a requirement to get the count in a workspace, in the query editor, in the query result box. Okay, because you may have a scenario uh, based on the count, do some other calculation. If the count is greater than 100, do this and that. Okay, in those kind of cases you must need to get this result in the query result. So for that we have this count functions. Okay, I have one separate dedicated video for these functions. You can go through that also. So just revise this once here. Okay, count of star is also returning the same count 107, which we have seen by right clicking the result set 107. Okay, so basically this count is used to get the total records present in the table. Okay, so likewise there are other functions also we have. It is sum, doing the addition. finding the maximum, finding the minimum, doing the average of some, of on some values. Also, group by is also there. Okay, so let's see. One more thing we need to keep in mind. Okay, so while using these aggregate function, we can like apply these functions only on the numeric columns. Okay, or maybe I would say we cannot sum this first name and email. Like performing the aggregate function is not the correct way on the string columns. Okay, there are some different functions to concatenate first name and the last name, or maybe the string columns. That's a completely different topic. We will talk about that topic in some other videos. So for now, aggregate functions are supposed to do on numeric columns only. For example, salary, or maybe this commission PCT is null, manager ID, department ID. These columns we can use for the aggregate functions. Okay, let's say I have a requirement to find out the maximum of salary. Okay, so for that, I will simply write this keyword max of salary. It is going to return the maximum of salary from this table. Let's run it. 24,000. Okay, we see the maximum of salary is 24,000. Likewise, we can see the minimum and average also. Minimum and average. So this is just a keyword difference to find based on your requirement, like we can use the aggregate functions. Now, to make these aggregate functions more flexible, okay, we have further functions, like we can combine these aggregate functions with some other functions also. For example, one of these is group by. Okay, so here, just a second. Okay, so you see here in this table we have this department ID column also present. Okay, so department ID column is repetitive columns, like how many employees belongs to a particular department ID, or I can say there can be a multiple employees which belongs to the same department ID. Okay, same department. So if I have a requirement for department ID 100, what is the maximum salary? How would you find that? Okay, so for that we need to do the group. Okay, so grouping is basically combining the same type of data set. Okay, as you see, 100 is repetitive here. Okay, so in that case, if you want to see what is the maximum of salary for the department ID 100, so in simple words, you need to combine this department ID and then you have to do the max, right? So how would you write that query? You would do the max of salary. Okay, so make it more readable, let's select the department ID as well, and then we have to do the group by. Okay, group by based on the department ID, so that I can get the result based on the department ID. So by using this query I will get the result for each department ID, what is the maximum salary. Okay, let's run it and see. Okay, you see department ID is not like it is not coming duplicate now. For ID 90, the maximum salary is this, 60 is this. Okay, so this is how like group by can make the aggregate function more flexible. Okay, so this is very high level of using group by in the combination of the aggregate functions. Okay, so for today's video, I think it is pretty enough for the beginner level. Okay, in next couple of videos, I'll be explaining with having and group by functions along with some where conditions also, or maybe little more complex queries. Okay, for the beginner level only. Also, I'm planning to prepare one dedicated video on the interview questions and answers for the like for beginner level only, and the topics we have covered till now. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions on these topics. I'll be happy to explain further. So yeah, that's all for today's video, and thank you for watching.